Kia ora, everyone. I'm Cesar, the older brother, and today we are recording this video from our digital studio in Queenstown, New Zealand. And yeah, as you can see in my background, I'm building a better life step by step and sharing what I'm learning along the way. And today, I want to talk about something that I've been experiencing recently. And to be honest, it's not something easy to explain because when you start practicing meditation at the beginning, everything is very simple. You sit down, you close your eyes, start to breathe, and relax or trying to relax. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But then if you stay consistent, something begins to change. And what I notice is that after some time, meditation doesn't feel just like a practice anymore. It starts to feel like something deeper is happening. You feel more calm, more present, more aware. But also, sometimes you feel something that is difficult to describe. Something like clarity, connection, energy. And I've been thinking about this a lot because when you experience something like that, you naturally start asking questions. What is this? Where is this coming from? Is this something real or is just my mind? And I think this is an important conversation because many people who start meditating at some point, they reach this stage, and if we don't understand or we don't understand it properly, it can become confusing. So today, I just want to share my reflections, not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who is trying to understand this process. Let's go with my experience. Let's talk about a little bit about that because over the past months, I've been very consistent with my meditation. Every morning, Monday to Friday, if I have not much to do during the weekends, I practice also Saturday or Sunday, but waking up early, sitting down, breathing, and observing. And slowly, I start to notice some changes. At the beginning, it was simple things like less anxiety, more calm, better focus. But then something deeper start to appear. Moments where I feel very present, very connect, and very aware of everything, even aware of small things, my breath, my body, my thoughts. And sometimes it feels like there is a kind of clarity inside, like everything is just there without any effort. And those moments, believe me, feel very powerful. And naturally, when something feels powerful, your mind wants to understand it. It wants to say, this is something important. This means something, and that's where I start to asking myself, am I experiencing something real, or is just my mind just interpreting something in certain way? And I think this is where we need to be careful. So I start to look at this from a more practical perspective. And I did the question like, what is meditation actually doing? And the answer is simpler than we think. Meditation is training your attention. That's it. You sit down and focus on your breath. You are reducing your noise. You are reducing thinking, distraction, mental activity. And when the noise goes down, your perception increases. Not because something external is changing, but because your mind is more quiet. And there is also something happening in your body. When you meditate, you activate the vagus nerve, and this is a part of your nervous system that calms you down, reduces stress, creates a sense of safety. So your body shifts from the stress mode to a calm mode. And when your body is calm, your mind follows. So I want to make a zoom here and get into the vagus nerve a little bit. So, what is the vagus nerve? This nerve is one of the main nerves in your body. It connects your brain to many important organs like your heart, your lungs, your stomach, your digestive system. Think of it like a communication highway between your brain and your body. So, what does it do? What's the main function of the vagus nerve? So this nerve is part of your parasympathetic nervous system. This is the system responsible for relaxation, recovery, and calmness. So basically, in your body, you have two systems, the sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic. The sympathetic is the stress mode. So it's when you activate your fight or flight, when you feel anxiety, when you feel the like a fast heart rates, you feel tension. On those moments, your sympathetic nervous system is active or probably saturated. And then, on the other hand, you have your parasympathetic, that is the calm mode. It's responsible for rest and digest, slower heart rates, relaxation, and clarity. So the vagus nerve helps you to switch into calm mode. And why is it important in meditation? Well, when you meditate, especially when you breathe slowly, you sit still, relax your body, you are activating the vagus nerve. What happens then? Your heart rate slows down, so you feel calm. Your breathing becomes deeper, so you feel more stable. Your body feels safe, so you reduce your anxiety. Your mind becomes quieter, so you feel like more clarity. And this is why meditation feels relaxing, grounding, sometimes even powerful. So this is a very important insight that I want to do in this video, and is sometimes when you practice meditation, when you do it consistently, what feels like a deepest or spiritual experience is often your nervous system moving into a very balanced state. Not something external, but something happening inside your body. What is meditation actually doing? Also, we talk about your nervous system, but there is something happening in your brain as well. There is a network called the default mode network. This network is responsible for overthinking, basically, self talk, and worrying. So, the default mode network. And meditation reduce its activity. So now imagine this: less noise, less stress, less overthinking. What do you get? More space. And when you experience that space, it can feel very powerful. Why it feels so deep? Now, this is where things get interesting. Because when you feel calm, when you feel present, when you feel connected, your mind tries to explain it. It wants to give meaning to the experience. And it does that using ideas, beliefs, memories, symbols. So the experience itself is simple awareness, but the interpretation can become complex. And this is something very important to understand. The experience is real. You are experiencing those feelings. Probably you have some visions, probably you have some special thoughts, and the interpretation is flexible. So the experience is real, but the interpretation is flexible. And this is where we need grounding because if we are not careful, we can start building an identity around the experience. So there is a quote from Viktor Frank that really helps me to understand this. He said, between a stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies our freedom. Meditation expands that space, not by adding something magical, but by reducing the noise. And also, teachers like John Kabat-Zinn explain something very simple. You don't need to become anything. You just need to observe. And probably in meditation, if we can talk about that, we can say like it could be like some risks as well, because when these experiences feel strong, there are two possible paths. One path, you start thinking something like, I'm becoming something special. I have something different. And this can lead to confusion. Other path, it's simpler. You say, I'm becoming more aware. I understand myself better. And that keeps you grounded. For me, this distinction is very important, is key because during meditation practice, when you feel calm, relaxed, when you feel such a degree of connection, of joy, of bliss, you can become um, delusional for saying that. Sometimes you can say like, wow, and you can believe things that probably are just part of becoming more aware or part of understanding yourself better. But our brain can use beliefs, symbols, to try to explain those things. Uh, so how do you stay grounded? Very simple. You keep your routine, you meditate, you work, you live your life, you stay connected with reality, and you observe your experiences without attaching to them because not everything you feel needs to become your identity. And well, I want to highlight as well that meditation can feel powerful, and that's a good sign. It means like something is changing and and you are doing something well in your practice. But the real transformation is not in one moment. It's not just in that moment that you are experiencing that. It's in how your life change over time. You don't need to become a master. You don't need to become a guru, a master. You just need to become more aware and then build your life from there. If you practice meditation, I would like to know if you do it and how meditation is changing your life. So please subscribe to the channel, The Older Brother. If you like this content, like it and yeah, comment as well and let us know if you practice meditation, how's your experience, and what do you think about all these interesting topics. And see you next time. This is Cesar, the older brother. Thank you so much.